away from him for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Well, we're going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to share my screen. Is that the right screen, I hope?
That's
Yeah.
it.
That's the one.
I'm right in the middle of a bunch of continuing education classes as well. So if I'm looking over here, I'm supposed to be checking in. So welcome everybody to Pantano Rotary Club's November 10th meeting with special guest Kelley Ireland, which I spelled correctly this time, I believe. We're gonna symbolically ring the bell. Bing! That's my bell. And let's see. Dan, you can do the Pledge of Allegiance while you're driving, can't you?
Yep. And I'm a highly trained professional.
Well, lead us in, sir.
Put your hand over your heart and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of
the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one
one nation, under God, indivisible,
liberty
liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Dr. Dan. Words of inspiration, Miss Linda? Who has them?
I got them.
Gene, great.
Yes. People may forget what you said, will forget what you said. They will forget what you did, but they will never, never forget how you made them feel.
Oh, good one, Gene.
Right. That's
Very
a
good.
I like that.
good one.
Gene is also exercising an old Shakespearean motto that brevity is the soul of wit.
That's right.
Thank you, Gene. Again, our guest speaker today is Kelley Ireland, and she is with Moms Demand Action. We also have with us past president of Pantano Rotary Club, Bruce Tucker. So welcome both of our guests.
Thank you.
Welcome, Bruce.
Quick announcements
Welcome, Bruce.
while I have you here. Jerry Heinze's birthday is November 9th. That was a couple of days ago. And past District Governor Ron Goodsight's birthday is November 29th. Lauren Smith Clace has been she's been married for 16 years as of November 11th. So it is their anniversary tomorrow, which is pretty cool. Make sure to wish them a happy anniversary. Gene Medina has a 41-year anniversary coming up this month, and it's $100 a year, the fine in Rotary for marriage, isn't it?
Now you tell us.
In your dreams.
And I have been a Rotarian for 9 years as of November 1st. And Dr. Richard Marcello has been a Rotarian for 29 years as of November 1st. So some cool anniversaries there.
Very nice.
Announcements, Dr. Bruce Tucker.
Where in the world did you dig up that picture, and would you send me a copy?
How about that? Yeah.
Oh, I have a better one.
How wonderful it'd be if my hair was still that thick and my mustache still that dark.
So I hear you have something to talk about.
Indeed. Can you see my camera now?
Yeah.
I can see your camera, yes.
Okay. Well, first of all, as I said in an email, as a past president, I know what it's like because everybody wants Rotary to do something for them. They either want them to do something with their hands and hearts and minds, or they want them to write a check. And I've asked for just a couple of minutes to very quickly talk about a project that I'm involved in, and I'm going to ask for both, but I'll make it really short. I've been very involved with the Greater Arizona Bicycle Association for a long, long time. And we always used to do Toys for Tots. And then starting 6 years ago, we switched over to a direct hands-on project with the South Tucson Fire Department. And we've gathered toys at our annual meeting, and we've gathered bicycles and decorated ourselves to look like elves and silly people, and ridden down to the fire station and delivered 300 or so toys to help families in South Tucson. Then the fire department, separate from us, has their Santa and has families in. And we expected to do the same thing this year, and I was asked to be in charge of it. And then came COVID. So we have to do things a little bit differently. And what we are doing is we're going to buy toys. And to do that, we started a GoFundMe page, and I will hold this up in front. I don't know how much of you can see because I don't see that image, but hopefully you can see it. The URL that is up on the screen, bikegaba.org, will take you to our homepage. And from there, you'll see an article on the Toys project and a link should you wish to contribute, if you are in a position to and you haven't already dedicated all your money somewhere else, which we understand. We set a goal of $5,000 and we've reached 3,000 this morning after 11 days. We'd like to hit the full 5 if we can. In addition to the money that we're gathering from our friends and acquaintances, GABA is also donating $2,000, 1,000 unrestricted and 1,000 as matching. So we have 5,000 and our goal now is 7,000. And that's what we're doing. And we hope at least a couple of you have the opportunity and interest in joining us in this project. If you'd rather buy a toy and rather than give money, we'll have several locations around town on the 5th. We'll be at St. Philip's Plaza and we'll be at the Udall Dog Park between 9 and 11. And I sent Chad an email with my phone number. If any of you have questions or would like to help in any way or want to know anything, Chad, feel free to give them my phone number and have them give me a direct call. Any questions? Otherwise, I'll let you get on to the more important business of everything else you've got going on there today.
Bruce, it's
Go ahead.
great to see you, bud. It's been a while. And so we'd love to have you back because you're Mr. Energy and Mr. Exciting and it would be fun to have you back in the club. So I hope you consider joining us again. That'd be great. We'd love to have you.
I think of Rotary from time to time, and it's just my circumstances have changed and it just didn't really work for me after 2004. But as I was saying to your speaker when we were chatting before everybody else joined in, I was a Rotarian, I am a Rotarian, and I always will be a Rotarian. I just haven't been to a meeting in a very long time.
Well, see,
How about,
now
how
you can
about
join
becoming
us.
a
We can
friend of
Zoom it.
Rotary? We have that.
I don't know what that is, but if you'd have Chad send me some info, I'll
Yeah,
look
we
into
will.
it.
We'll send some stuff.
Okay.
Okay,
Excellent.
fantastic.
Anything else for Bruce? All right. Thank you so much, Bruce. We really appreciate seeing you again.
Thank you. And I'm going to stick around for the rest of the meeting and please send me that picture.
Absolutely, I will. I had a couple of announcements. The first one, Tom Tatro couldn't be with us again today, but I wanted to announce that the Pantano Rotary Club raised $890 for the Walk to End Alzheimer's, which occurred on October 31st.
Chad, can I add something to that, please? Because I
Yes,
just
ma'am.
talked to Tom this morning,
Okay.
who is in quarantine. He and his wife both had to be tested. But he said, Tom said that the walk, his sector of the walk gained $2,460. And since he's part of Rotary, he would like that to be considered. So it's more than 890, it's 2,640.
That's excellent.
So there you go.
Thank you for that update, Jane.
Okay, you're welcome.
So 2640 for the Walk to End Alzheimer's. And of course, that project is very, very near and dear to us since we lost Dick Tatro, Tom's wife. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is we wrote a check yesterday. Gene, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, we donated $500 to the Thanksgiving dinner project that's happening in Sunnyside School District through the Opportunity Center. And what they're going to be doing is they're going to be making dinners, and then families come up that have been selected, drive up, and then they deliver the dinner to their car that they can take home. And it looks like we're going to be doing close to 500 dinners with the people that are sponsoring the project.
Excellent.
Very good.
Pantano Rotary continuing to do service projects in the face of a pandemic. Make sure you pat yourselves on the back. Our speaker presentation. Linda, will you please introduce our speaker?
Yes, I'd love to. Our speaker today is Kelley Ireland. Kelley is recently retired from a 40-year career with federal government service. She worked for the U.S. Postal Service and for the Veterans Administration in Occupational Safety and Health and Risk Management as a program manager and national trainer for both agencies. Kelley is a gun violence survivor. After her son's death by suicide, her friend and coworker was shot to death in a workplace shooting. She was spurred to act, but avenues to do so were few. After Tucson's 2011 mass shooting and the Sandy Hook school shooting in Newtown, Connecticut, Moms Demand Action, a grassroots organization, was founded by Sharon Watts, a concerned mother herself. In 2014, Kelley joined Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America in the effort to help end the national surge of gun violence. The Be Smart program is the educational, non-partisan arm of Moms Demand Action and was a good fit for Kelley as a trainer. Kelley co-leads Be Smart with Carol Hammond McMillan. Be Smart uses the acronym SMART as a simple way to help people remember how to protect kids from unintentional shootings and to recognize risk factors for teen suicide. When combined with the presence of firearms, teen suicides end far too many young lives each year in America. Be Smart is a program that has been an active presence at state and local agencies, schools, businesses, churches, doctors' offices, employee and school health fairs, and festivals at no cost. Kelley lives in Tucson as a Tai Chi and Qigong instructor. She is a survivor fellow, volunteer with Everytown, helping violent survivors like herself. She considers herself an accidental activist in the fight against gun violence. Please help me welcome Kelley Ireland.
Yay.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you for asking me to come today. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you. I'm going to try to share my screen now, and hopefully I will be able to do that with great success. But you never know, because I'm certainly no expert at Zoom. So hang on one moment, please, while I try to do this. And let's see. Are you able to see green and white Be Smart?
No,
Yeah,
No?
no.
I wonder if I have the ability to share my screen.
You do.
Okay, how about now?
There you go.
Yes,
there you go.
No.
Yes? Okay.
yes.
Yes, no?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay, okay. So are any of you familiar with Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America?
yes.
Any no's out there?
No.
The first I heard of it was today.
Okay, well, it's a grassroots organization that was started by Shannon Watts after the Sandy Hook school shooting, and that was in 2014. And she was just a concerned mother who had kids in school, and she heard about this terrible massacre and she just couldn't believe it. So she started looking for advocacy groups or someplace just to share her grief and her fear, because, you know, she had children in school at the time and it was terrifying to her. So she couldn't find much of anything. So she started this grassroots organization from her kitchen table on Facebook. And it went from 0 people, or 1 person, Shannon, to 6 million people in the course of 6 years. So Be Smart has become quite a big leader in the gun violence prevention movement. But they have an education arm called Be Smart, and that's kind of where I come in. Be Smart is a program developed by Moms Demand Action to bring together parents and adults concerned about kids, guns, and safety. Nearly 1,600 children under the age of 18 are killed every year in the United States by guns. And I think many of us have heard the statistics. We read things in the newspaper about children, toddlers getting a hold of guns. I mean, it's pretty common that we hear that in the news. Firearms are actually the second leading cause of death for Black children. That's quite a big number. And it's the third leading cause of death for all children. I mean, you would think other things might be diseases or what have you, but it's gun deaths. The majority of gun deaths by firearms for children are as follows. 52% of those are homicides, and that's about 800 kids a year that are killed. And about a little bit more than 600 kids are killed every year by firearm suicide and are usually shot to death at home. So that's, that's a problem in America. We have gun safety program, gun safety issue with children. In school shootings, about 80% of the shootings that have happened have taken place when a child or a young person gets a hold of a gun that's in their homes. I mean, think about it, 80% is a pretty large amount of kids to be able to get a hold of an unsecured gun. Sometimes they get them at friends' homes or relatives' homes. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. We all want our kids to grow up happy and healthy, and we each have the right to make responsible decisions about how to protect our homes. We have to decide whether we even want to have firearms in our homes. And, we feel like if we can just keep one child from dying or being injured, it's our responsibility to do so. And it's kind of an emotional issue. People are very, pardon the pun, up in arms about talking about gun violence. A lot of people think that nothing can be done about it. People will say if somebody is going to kill themselves, they're going to find a way to do it. So, let's just not worry about that. But it is an emotional issue if it's affected you. And, many of us are gun owners. I was a gun owner myself. And we lived in a home with a father who liked to hunt, and we kept firearms and we kept them locked up. But our son accessed a firearm that we had at the age of 18 and shot himself in a moment of impulsivity. So that's kind of what led me to get started with Be Smart, was just my own experience with it. And I would really love to know that we help somebody prevent a death or an injury. So you've all read things in the newspapers, all of us have, I think, about school shootings. And in the upper left-hand corner here, there's this was a shooting that happened in 2018. And a 16-year-old boy accessed a gun in his home and injured over a dozen, 17 people were injured and 2 students were dead. So those were all students that were shot by this young man. And, there are a lot of even jokes about toddlers dying by guns and killing other people by guns. But my counterpart, Carol Hammond McMillan, and I go to a lot of events around town. We go to a lot of school fairs and health fairs for employees. And we hear these stories all the time. People will say, well, yeah, we have guns in our home, but they're in places where the kids don't go. They're in the closet shelf, or they're in a drawer by the bed, and the kids know better than to go there. And we all want to think that. I wanted to think that too, but it isn't so. Kids are very curious and they're very interested in things that they're not supposed to touch or bother. In the lower left-hand corner here, we have a tale of a young man, a young boy in one of the inner cities who took a gun from home because he was afraid. He was being bullied and he wanted to protect himself. So, you know, when our children see these things on television and in the news and as ways to help keep themselves safe, you know, they can perpetuate the cycle of gun violence. And the last one here that says guns and impulsive teenagers equal tragedy. Here's a story about a little boy who was 13 years old. He was in the 8th grade. And this is my story. It isn't my personal story, but this is what happened to me. I had an 18-year-old, but this little boy was 13 years old. And he was like my son. He was happy, healthy. He was handsome. He had absolutely a bunch of friends. He was good at sports. He was just a great kid and always seemed to be as happy as could be. But one impulsive act caused him to take his life. And that's what happened with this little 13-year-old boy. So we just never know what our kids are thinking, and we never know what they're going through, and we never know how they're going to react when something hurtful happens to them. So we know now that kids' brains are not developed. The frontal cortex, or the frontal part of the brain, is not developed in kids until they're in their 20s, their mid-20s. Boys are a little bit later developing in that section of the brain than girls are, but that's the section of the brain that deals with ramifications. So that's why young men make such good soldiers. You know, they have these great sort of death-defying feelings about themselves, like it just couldn't possibly happen to them. So we have to keep that in mind. You know, I am one who thought that my son was, well, at 18, an adult, right? And gee, at 18 years old, I was on my own. And I never dreamed that he would do what he did, but he did in a moment of impulsivity. And now I know that though he looked like an adult and he was the size of an adult and he acted like an adult in many ways and had the voice of an adult, he was still a child, and this happened. So what's the acronym SMART? Linda said that SMART is what we use to kind of help people understand in a quick way what they can do to about gun violence with kids. And the S stands for secure, and that's kind of a big key item there. We want people to secure their guns in their homes and in their vehicles. And a lot of times people think, well, you know, like I was saying earlier, the gun is in the top shelf of the closet. The kids know better than to go there and get the gun. Well, they might know better and they might not, but they're curious. And I don't care how old or how young they are, they're curious. And, you know, we've seen time and time again, we've heard these stories all the time, where the parents will be standing there telling us, my son knows he had better not go near that gun, and he knows where it's stored, or he doesn't know where it's stored. And the kid will be standing behind the mom going, yes, we do, yes, we do, yes, we do. So just think about it. When you were young, when you were a child, weren't you snoopy and looking around in places that you shouldn't have been? I certainly was. I remember my father had a pistol that he brought back from World War II, and they kept it in the hall closet. And my training from my parents was, don't go near that gun. So what do you think I wanted to show everyone that came over? I didn't touch it, but it was the gun that was sitting in that cabinet. My grandfather was an Irish policeman. He had a .45 on his dresser. My training there was, don't touch that gun. But had I wanted to, maybe had I been a little boy who was curious and liked guns or thought that they were cool, I might have gone and picked it up, and God knows what would have happened. And probably a lot of us have those same kinds of stories. So what we want is for guns to be secured. That would be locked up in a gun safe, or with a cable lock, trigger lock, or stored with separate, unloaded with the ammunition separate. We hear people say all the time, we always take a gun safe with us when we do a program. And, you know, they come in all sizes, depending upon how many guns people have. And we'll hear people say, yeah, you know, I've got 8 guns, but I really can't afford a safe. So maybe sometime I'll get a safe and I'll have a bunch of kids around them. And we're, you know, we're sitting there going, let's see, you have 8 guns, but you can't afford a safe. People just don't think it can happen to them, but it can. So secure them. And, you know, a lot of kids get a hold of guns that are in cars, in the consoles, in the glove box. So, you know, we just sometimes tend to overlook the idea that they're snoopy and they get into things and they surprise us. The M in SMART means to model responsible behavior. Certainly leaving a gun lying on your dresser or in your underwear drawer or in the top shelf of your closet is not responsible modeling. We want kids to know how dangerous firearms are and that they can kill you. And though that may not sink in because they watch TV and they see video games where the person that gets shot gets up and walks away, or next week they're on a different movie and it just doesn't seem real, we as adults are the responsible parties and we are the ones that need to model the safe behavior with guns. The A, which is in the middle of SMART, that's kind of the biggest key factor in this whole thing. Ask, it stands for ask. And ask has to do with when your child goes to somebody else's home or your grandchild, or if you keep guns in your home, you want to make sure when somebody visits that has a child that you ask about unsecured guns in the home. Now, it's a kind of a hot issue these days, but if your child had a peanut allergy, or if your child had a fear of dogs or couldn't swim, you would be asking about pools and dogs and what kind of foods were going to be shared with your child, and you would make sure somebody knew that he or she had an allergy. So you should be asking about unsecured firearms as well, because so many homes do keep firearms. The R in SMART is to recognize the role of guns in suicide. There are so many suicides that happen because a kid gets access to a gun in the home. At one of our Moms Demand Action meetings not long ago, somebody came and spoke. He was a young man that came to speak about a local campaign. And he was a gun violence survivor because he had decided at one point in school, in high school, that he was going to end his life. And he said that he knew where his parents kept their guns, and they were kept in the closet and they were not secured. And he thought about it a lot. And one day he decided when he came home from school that he would go into their closet and get the gun and kill himself. And he did go into the closet, and he found that his parents had purchased a gun safe and he couldn't get a hold of the gun. So, but for their action at that time, he would be gone, he wouldn't be here. So we really need to recognize the role of guns in suicide and the fact that teens are so susceptible to it. You know, there's so much going on in kids' lives anymore with social media and bullying and the combination of the two, and peer pressure and so many other things, that kids are getting to the point where at younger ages, they're starting to consider things like suicide. And then taking the law into their own hands, you know, maybe taking a gun to confront a bully or something like that. There's just so much that they have to put up with. And the last thing here is the T in SMART, and that's tell people about Be Smart. We will go to your place of business and we'll do a presentation like this, and it's free of charge. We go to all kinds of health fairs. Carol is my counterpart, and she does do things that are a lot of fun with kids, while I do the serious part and talk to the parents. So one more time, we want to make sure that we secure the guns. Take a look at this. 13 million households with kids contain at least one gun, and hiding guns is not securing them. A lot of times people will say, my kid knows better and he better not get into that closet because we've told him, you know, we're going to ground him if he does. It isn't your kid's responsibility to stay away from the guns. It is your responsibility as an adult. Just make it part of normal safety conversations you have with kids. They're very susceptible to being drawn to these things. So, you know, keep the language simple when you talk to them about it. Again, you know, people sometimes are a little bit hinky about asking when your child visits someone else's house, even a relative's house. You can text, you can email if you're uncomfortable asking somebody about it, but just ask them if they have unsecured guns in their homes. And if they say no, they're secure, would you ask how they secure them? Because people will tend to think they're secure if they're in a drawer or under the bed or in a mattress or under a pillow. So you'd be surprised. Just ask. And this is an example here of, you know, you would ask about a peanut allergy, or you would ask about other things that your child was not able to do, like not able to swim or afraid of dogs. This one here is very close to me. 90% of suicide attempts with a gun result in death, and it's a much higher fatality rate than any other means of self-harm. Most people don't die from suicide unless they use a gun, and about 85 to 90% of the time when a gun is used, it's a fatal thing. And it's the flip side when they are not using a gun. If they're using pills, or they're cutting, or they're doing some other method, usually they can be saved. So this is a little scary. A survey of high school students found that 17% of kids had seriously considered attempting suicide within the last year. And about 41% of adolescents in gun-owning homes report having easy access to guns. So that's very common. It's not the exception. And these are some resource telephone numbers. And if you wish, you can take those down. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is available 24/7. And the Trevor Project is for LGBTQ youth suicide prevention, and they have a helpline called the Trevor Lifeline. And there's a text line also for people that don't like to talk but like to text, and that is text HOME, HOME, to 741-741 from anywhere in the country, anytime, about any kind of crisis. And my time is up, and I thank you so much. Do you have any questions?
Sure, I have a question.
Yes.
Those of you who remember me from Rotary would say, well, Bruce always has a question, but I do.
That's what we love about you, Bruce.
What's that, please?
I said that's what we love about you.
Thank you. Are you involved in legislation activities? Are you trying on either the local level or the state level or the national level, as well as, or are you mostly working with awareness?
Well, actually both. When I wear my Be Smart hat, I am really not talking about anything political, because it's not really a political issue, it's a safety issue. And when I'm wearing my red Moms Demand Action shirt, I am absolutely involved at the legislative level. We do go every year to speak on a National Advocacy Day for Moms Demand Action to our elected leaders at the state house and at the Senate. And sometimes they'll meet with us and talk about some of the things that we are trying to have happen, and sometimes they won't, just depending upon what legislative district we live in and who is in that seat. And we do go down and we hear and try to stop bad gun bills that will harm children. So we are working on a lot of levels, but yes, locally, absolutely, and statewide, absolutely, and nationally as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Well, thank you so much for having me today. I hope that this gave you some information you didn't have before, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kelley.
Thank you, Kelley.
I'm going to
Thank
provide
you.
your contact information, if it's all right, to the folks in attendance today, if they have any questions that they might be reluctant to ask in public.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let me just say one last thing, because I think sometimes people get the idea that we are an organization that is trying to take people's guns away, and we are not trying to do that. We respect the Second Amendment, but we also think that common sense gun laws can coexist with the Second Amendment. So they're not mutually exclusive of each other, and we are not a group that's trying to take away guns. And Be Smart certainly does not hopefully give that impression. We just want people to be very safe with firearms.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Kelley.
It
Thank
was an
you.
excellent presentation. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, we're going to continue on. Kelley, you're welcome to join us for the rest of our meeting. If you need to go, we understand that too.
Actually, I do. I have an interview that I have to give this afternoon to KVOA, so I do need to run. But thank you again. It was nice meeting you all, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you, Kelley.
Bye-bye.
All right, so yeah, I will provide Kelley's information. Anybody who would like it, I'll actually send it out in a email to all of our club members and everybody in attendance. I don't have a slide for this. However, I'm really glad that our district governor and our assistant governor could be here for this. Sandy, may I hand you the floor?
Yes, you may. Can you hear me? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, good. We decided, our club decided to do a presentation which will be sent to artists. Artists, are you there? Yes.
Here.
Good. I'm going to tell you what it says because it's a little hard to see on Zoom, and then I'll hold it up so you can see what I'm sending to you.
Okay.
Pantano Rotary Club of Tucson celebrates the leadership of Artist Peterson, President 2006 to 7. She organized the completion of the seawater desalination plant for the Seri Indian tribe in Punta Chuta, Sonora, and served many years as the chairperson for the Tri-National Shoebox Project in Nogales, Sonora, Mexico. And here is what it looks like.
Oh my goodness.
This is a basket that was given to us by the Seri people. And then I picked up all of these shells when we went to Tiburon Island with the chief to have him do the rain dance.
Oh
for
my
us.
goodness.
there you are.
I'm so
That's nice.
impressed. I can't believe it.
Very
So
good.
I have a video of you standing on the beach with the chief,
do you?
and he's singing to his ancestors. It's a wonderful thing.
It was incredible, wasn't it? Just incredible. So we thank you. We're so happy that you did all these things for us, and you did all the things for those people who really needed some help, and putting together different organizations, even including the Mexican government, who weren't that happy about doing something like getting it fixed. But Yeah, we're very, very happy. So thank you.
Well, thank you so much. It was a project of my heart. I think everyone that went down to Mexico felt something in their heart, giving the shoe boxes to the children and so forth. I think a lot of those children are grown up now, and I hope they remember Rotary in their hearts. Thank you for the honor.
Thank you, Artis.
Thank you, artists.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
America
Yes,
for
artists.
putting ladies like Artis.
I'm overwhelmed.
Well, good. That's what we were shooting for. All right. As many of you know, we are continuing our courageous conversations on race, racism, and social justice through Rotary's four-way test. We should have another meeting this month, but we know for sure that we're going to have one on November 1st. They tend to be the first and third Tuesdays of every month. We've had some scheduling complications, but for sure on November 1st. If you have any interest in joining us for some racial justice conversations through Rotary's four-way test, please join us. Jane, do you have anything to add as a secretary?
I don't at this point. I'm going to update the website, the national website with Tom's information, but I haven't done it yet.
Okay. Gene, do you have anything to add as far as RI Foundation or Club Foundation?
Just the fact that we've already shared that we provided the funds for the Thanksgiving dinner. And then I'm working with Araceli and others about the Angel Tree project for this year. And we're talking about how we can pull that off.
Excellent. We're still working on fundraisers. I'm going to be putting together a special fundraising committee to talk about short-term and long-term fundraisers. I haven't gotten that doodle out. Life's been crazy. I apologize. It'll happen soon. November is Rotary Foundation Month. The mission of Rotary Foundation and Rotary International is to enable Rotarians to advance world understanding, goodwill, and peace through the improvement of health, the support of education, and the alleviation of poverty. For as little as 60 cents, you can immunize a child from polio. $50 and actually $35 in Pantano Rotary's case can clean water to fight well-born intrusive waterborne illnesses, and $500 can launch an anti-bullying campaign. With Rotary Foundation Month, I thought that this was a very appropriate quote for the times we're in today. Much of the trouble in the world today is not so much the noise of the bad as it is the silence of the good.
That's good.
So don't forget all of the good that we do as Rotarians in this club, in this district, in this zone, and internationally. To talk about the foundation a little bit, the first donation for the Rotary Foundation was $26.50 in 1917. The foundation's first program was the Fellowships for Advanced Study, or Ambassadorial Scholarships. In 1965 and 66, 3 programs were launched: the Group Study Exchange, awards for technical training, and grants for activities in keeping with the objective of the Rotary Foundation, which was later called matching grants. In 1978, Rotary introduced Health, Hunger, and Humanity, 3H grants. The first 3H grant funded a project to immunize 6 million Philippine children against polio, and that's where we got the idea for Polio Plus. In 1985, the Polio Plus program was launched to eradicate polio worldwide. In 1987-88, the first peace forums were held, leading to Rotary Peace Fellowships and Peace Centers. 2003, the new district, global, and package grants enable Rotarians around the world to respond to the world's greatest needs. And again, $26.50 was the first donation to the foundation. And today, more than $1 billion has been contributed to the Rotary International Foundation. All right, pop quiz. Linda, what is the first area of 7 of focus for the Rotary International Foundation? And I'll give you a hint. There's a picture of it right there.
It's not water, is it?
Nope.
Oh, education.
Basic education and literacy. All right, what's the second one?
Motherhood.
Maternal and child care.
That's correct. Good job, Ball and Jean. What's the third one? If nobody gets this, I'm going to be very upset.
Peace.
Mercedes.
Peace and conflict resolution.
Mercedes. Richard nailed it. And then Lindo, you had this one a minute ago. What's this one?
Water.
Water and sanitation, disease prevention. I actually got them out of order, it looks like. And then water and sanitation, economic and community development. And in 2020, Rotary International made a 7th area of focus. Who knows what it is?
Environment.
It's the environment. All right. And we've also got a really cool thing happening in District 5500. Michael Drake and a few other folks are starting the first environmental cause-based club in District 5500, which should be opening on April 22nd, 2021, which is Earth Day. So don't leave my club or our club, but tell your friends about the environmental club. Upcoming events, Courageous Conversations on Race, may or may not be on the 17th. I'm not entirely sure yet. Indoor Ride to End Polio is November 21st. I'm still collecting contributions, and I know that Jean is as well. If you would like to sponsor either one of our rides, don't forget that it's a great opportunity to spend Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation money, because they match our contributions 2 to 1. December 1st, Courageous Conversations on Race. We have no meeting for November 24th because of Thanksgiving. December 3rd, we have both a board meeting and a Thirsty Thursday mixer, which I believe the Vail Club is going to make an effort to attend, if I'm not mistaken. Isn't that right, Arlo? Yep.
Sorry, trying to do 2 things at once. Just got a school. You're lovely. Sorry for being late. What was that again, Chad?
December 3rd, we've got a 5 p.m. Thirsty Thursday, which I believe the Vail Club is going to work on attending.
Yes, sir, absolutely. And you know I'll be there.
Yep. We've been having a really great time at the mixers recently. Arlo was in attendance last time, Rich and Anibal and Linda, and I don't know, I'm missing some folks, but we had a really good time. Tom couldn't be with us. He's in quarantine today. He and his wife, they've been working at home, but they're still in quarantine. Wish them well. Let's see what else we have. Because it is Foundation Month, I wanted to talk for a minute on how to make contributions to the Rotary Foundation. The first way is to go to rotary.org/give, or just rotary.org and click on Give. You can set up one-time or recurring payments to the Rotary Foundation. For $10 a month, you qualify for every Rotarian every year to the annual fund. We want our whole club to be members of EREY. For $10 a month. It's that cheap. If you can do $100 a month, that makes you a member of the Paul Harris Society for just $100 a month. You can also let any officer of Pantano Rotary Club know, and we can get you a Rotary Foundation donor form that we can fill out and mail. And don't forget to invite your fellow Rotarians to contribute to the foundation. All of the contributions that we make to the annual fund come back to us 3 years later so that we can fund our district and global grants. So, you know, our Guatemala Water Project is funded by a district grant because of the contributions that we make to the annual fund. Folks aren't making contributions to the annual fund. There's not any money for district grants. The people in Guatemala are drinking dirty water. Bottom line. Additionally, things to consider this year for foundation stuff. You can become a Rotary benefactor by planning to leave the Rotary Foundation $1,000 or more in your estate. Super easy to do. Put it in your will. You can tell Rotary that you're going to be a benefactor. You get a really nice pin for it. We all love pins, don't we? And we will recognize you, of course, at a board meeting or a regular meeting. And then become a Rotary Request Society member by committing $10,000 or more to the Rotary Foundation. You don't necessarily have to do that in your state, but you're essentially committing to giving $10,000 over your Rotary career to become a Request Society member. And I believe after that $10,000, you're also an Arch Clump Society member. Is that correct, Diane?
I don't believe so. I think we're looking at a little more than that, but yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe I'm full of baloney. Wouldn't be the first time. Hey, Bruce, will you lead us on the
Yes.
four-way test?
I will with pleasure. And thank you for putting, I was actually saying it out loud to someone, one of my customers last week, and I think I got it a little wrong. So thank you for the cheat sheet.
Absolutely.
The four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
And is
And the
it,
unofficial fifth,
Is it fun?
is it fun?
Does it
I
make
like that
money?
one. Before you adjourn, would it be possible for me to share my screen back with you folks for just a second?
I am fine with that. Go ahead, Bruce.
Okay, now you'll see me there in two formats. One has my camera, that's my iPad, but what I actually want to share is my desktop PC. So on my desktop PC where you don't see my picture, I'm going to click share screen.
Nada.
Oh, here it
And it-
comes.
Oh, it just says you're starting. Yeah, here we
Yeah,
go.
okay, we're good. Okay, so you can see my screen now. That's the Catalina Mountains with snow. And one of the things I learned as a Rotarian is when you ask for money, you should always ask twice, or maybe 3 times. So here is the Bike GABA website, www.bikegaba.org. And here's a story that I wrote explaining what we're trying to do for the kids in South Tucson. So I said, this is our 6th year working with the fire department. And then there is a GoFundMe page, and we've raised 3,000 of our 5,000, and we'll be buying toys on the 5th for delivery by the 12th. And we know that there's only so much money in every person's pot, and you've got lots of good things to spend it on. But if you can spare a few more bucks, I just thought I'd ask a second time. If you'd like to call me, Chad can share my contact info if you have any questions. And thank you all so much. It's those of you that I'm meeting for the first time, it's nice to meet you. And those of you that I knew from all those years ago, it's nice to still be able to see you all. Thank you.
Chad,
Bruce, come back and see us, bud.
Well, now that I know you're on Zoom, I'll
See?
try to
See, we made it.
attend from time to time.
We made it easy for you.
You do
Yeah,
that.
so keep me on your contact list. And then I don't know anything about Friends of Rotary. Send me that info too, because I don't know anything about it.
Do
Yeah.
that.
Chad, may I say a couple things?
As the district governor, absolutely not. No, you got as much time as you need.
I just want to mention, and this year, I'm really reaching out to the clubs to ask all the club members to make sure they do have a user ID and password for Rotary.org. Not only to give, because I think that's really important and it's so easy to do, but also all the resources that Rotary.org has. And if you don't have a user ID and password, you aren't going to be able to go into the Learning Center or the Brand Center. But most importantly, if you can think about giving online, doing Rotary Direct, it really makes things very easy for you to donate to the foundation. Thanks, Chad.
Absolutely.
Hey, Chad,
Arlo?
can I follow the district governor?
Absolutely.
Okay. First of all, I had a gas at the last Thursday. That was a great time. So always make sure I get that invite. Also, I'd like to let everybody know that the Vail Club has got their shred event going on. I know it's on the district website and everything, but this Saturday at Cienega High School, 20 bucks a car, you can shred the COVID. It'll be a no touch, just drive up, pop the trunk. We'll take care of it from there, okay?
Excellent.
Super.
Anything else for the good of the club or for Rotary? Excellent. We are adjourned. It's great to see everybody, and we will see you very soon.
Bye. Take care, everyone.
Take care.
Bye.
Wow.